Hey guys, happy Friday. I hope your New Year's Eve is going great, okay? So if you look either to the right or to the left, whatever side, I don't know how it's gonna be, you see I uploaded a picture along with this video that talks about accomplish your goals in 2022. Okay, so I want to encourage you, this is a quick video. I want to encourage you to not make New Year's resolutions, okay? And the reason why I say that is because making New Year's resolutions, y'all are only gonna do it for a few days and then, you know, it's over with. Like, you're not gonna do it anymore. We've all done that, right? We've all done that. So I want to encourage you to do another method, okay? And this method is actually called the SMART method, okay? And what does that stand for? If you look on the picture, you'll see it has S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and then T for time-based. Some say time-bound. It just depends on who you're talking to. But I want to break this down for you, and I want to show you kind of how to set up your goals, and then hopefully this helps you guys in accomplishing your goals for 2022, because we don't have time to be sitting here saying we're going to do things and then we don't do it, okay? We don't have time for that no more, okay? So what exactly do these mean, okay? And I got my notes over here, so I'm just gonna bring my laptop over. Okay, so when we're talking about goal making, okay, when we're looking for, you know, like specific things, literally you're gonna ask yourself a few questions for each thing, okay? So to be specific, all it's asking, or what it's saying, is just, it's something that is significant, something that is simple, okay? When you are doing your specific part of writing out your goal, you're going to ask yourself a few questions. The very first thing you want to ask is, what do I want to accomplish? Okay? And it can be generalized as of right now, but once you finish this, it's going to get more specific as you go through each letter, okay? But while you're doing your specific, you want to ask yourself, why is this goal important? Anytime when you're doing goal making, you have to know your why. Because if you don't know your why, that should be the very first thing that you figure out when you're writing your goals. Because if you don't know your why, you're not going to have any motivation to complete your goal when those times of struggle and turmoil come, okay? When you're asking, you know, that part of specific, you're asking, who is involved? Is this just going to be me? Is it going to be other people that are involved in this? Is it maybe other businesses? Who all is involved? Okay. If it's a location, where is it located? Then you're going to ask, you know, which resources, you know, am I going to use, or are there any limits that I'm going to have to deal with? Okay. So a prime example of this, you'll start with a generalized statement. You'll say, I want to read more. That's your generalized statement. Okay. So when you get to your S, it's going to be specific. So when you ask, what do I want to accomplish? Okay. I want to read books. I want to read more. Okay. Why is this goal important? Well, reading is fundamental. Education is elevation. The more I read, the more I'm better able to understand and comprehend and know what is going on, not only here in my society that's around me, but throughout the world. It helps me to better understand others. It helps me to even have cultural humility if I'm reading the right books. Okay? Who is involved? It's just me. I'm not reading with no group of people. I'm reading by myself. Okay? Where is it located? I don't have to have a location to read books. And then which resources or limits are involved? So if you're not a big reader before, you may not have that many books. So you may have to set more money outside of your budget, or in your budget, you may have to set aside more money to go and buy books. Because not everybody can afford to just go shopping. We see this Prime example, growing up as a low-income kid, I work with the homeless now. Literally, rent here in Houston is more than what a lot of people are getting from the government every month. So how can you go and, you know, how can you get books? Okay, well, if you have a smartphone and if you can afford it, okay, so if you can afford it, you can do maybe ebooks. Or if you live here in Houston, they have half price books. You can go there, get a whole bunch of cheap books. Or if you can't even afford that at all, you can go to the library and just rent books. Get my point? So that's why you'll start with your generalized statement. I kind of said that wrong earlier. You're going to start with your generalized statement and then it gets more specific. That's your S. Okay? Going on into measurable. So measurable goals, this is how you're going to track this. How am I going to keep up with how many books am I reading? Well, not or, but you're also going to measure, like, you're going to break down how you're going to do this. Meaning, okay, I want to read more in 2020. Sorry, my camera is going in and out of focus. I don't know why. Probably because my hand is in the way. But, so I want to read more in 2022. How much more? Okay, so I want to read 12 books in 2022. Okay, how are you going to read 12 books? That's where you have to break down and you have to really think, okay, so let's use me for an example. I work in rapid rehousing. So I'm working with the homeless. I'm pretty stressed. I work 40-hour weeks. And that's just working. And then I drive about an hour, hour and a half, you know, to work. And then I drive another hour and a half from work. So that's about 2 to 3 hours a day. Okay. I, you know, do ministry, is I guess is what you would call it. Ministry. Which I don't call it ministry. But hey, it is what it is. We're not going to get into semantics. And then I like to explore. So I want to read 12 books in 2022. How am I going to do that? Okay, well, there's 12 months in a year and my schedule is pretty hectic. So I could do 1 book per month. That's not a bad, you know, bad match. Okay. So, then that's your measurable. Okay, you're getting literally all this is doing, you're literally just being more and more specific as you go through this acronym. Okay, so the next one, achievable. Literally, you want to make sure that you're setting a realistic goal. I want to read more in 2022. I want to read 12 books in 2022. Why can you not do that? That's pretty achievable. Okay. But really when you get into that, what are you going to be asking? How am I going to achieve this? How am I going to accomplish this? Okay. So I'm going to read 12 books. I'm going to read 1 a month. So I'm going to set aside about 1 to 2 hours a week to read, depending on the size of the book. Okay. So that's your achievable. Moving on to your relevant. This is going back into your why. Okay. Is this worthwhile to me? Is me reading more, is that worthwhile? Well, yeah, because reading, you know, not only am I, you know, learning things, but also reading is a time for me to take time away from the fast-paced city life, hearing and dealing with everyone's problems, and I get to choose myself and sit, and then I can spend time doing something that I want to do and not doing what everybody else wants to do. It's a form of self-care for me. Okay? Now, if you don't like reading, it may not be a form of self-care. It may be more of a chore, but that goes into you having to figure out your why. Okay? Some other questions that you'll want to ask. And I'm going to give another example. But I really want you to think about, you know, when you're writing down your goals also is, are you the right person to reach this goal? Meaning that this is something you can actually do. It's not something that someone else has to do. What do I mean by that? Well, you'll say, oh, well, I want to read 12 books, but your reading level may not be what it needs to be, or you may not be able to read it all. So not saying that you're the wrong person to do it. You may have to get someone else to help you accomplish this goal. Okay? Another thing, is this applicable to our current, you know, socio-economic, you know, little issue environment going on right now? Okay, and I'll use that in another example about that question. But then when we get into time bound or time based, depending on who you're talking to, they're the same thing. So this is where you're gonna really I kind of jumped a little bit, but when you get into time bound, so you want to read 12 books over 12 months, a book a month, that's your time bound. That's it. So you came up with your goal, and that's literally what you do. So I'll do a video writing this out so you can kind of see, because some people are visual, some people you just can't talk. I'm the same way. So anyways, let's do another example. Let's say I want to save more money in 2022. Okay, starting with our S, specific. What do I want to accomplish? I want to save more money. Why is this important? Well, let's say that, oh, this is a good one. An acquaintance of mine, let's say, let me think of an example. I'm not going to use that one because I don't want to put her business out there. Okay, so let's say this. So let's say that you don't have a savings account. You have no money pretty much saved. And let's say that you total your car, and your car isn't really worth anything and you won't really get much back. And let's say that your credit is terrible. So you are going to have to put a down payment on a car. So you can say, okay, well, I'm saving more money. So, you know, if something happens, whether I get in a car accident or whether, a prime example, I'm gonna use that. Oh, that's a good example. I'm gonna use that next. But let's say that, you know, you don't have, you know, good credit, and, you know, you want to save more money in case something happens to your car. You can go and get it fixed, or you can go get a new car. That's your why. Or I have realized that I am spending so much money on this and I really don't need this here. So I need to save more money. You get what I mean? Now, asking, now I'm not going to go through all the questions. Well, yeah, I am, for people, because some people don't know. So who is involved? Well, that's just you. Where is it located? You don't have to have a location. But this question here, what resources do you have to save more money? Do you make enough money to where you can set money aside? Or do you not make enough money? Let's say that you're low income. The low income currently right now is between $794 to $801, and it's about to go up to like $840. So let's say that you want to save $5,000. Okay, that's what you want. You want to save $5,000. So if let's say you're making, let's say we'll do $800 a month. Okay, so you do that times 12 months. that's $9,600. So that means that for the entire year, you're only gonna have to be living on $4,400. That's not livable, especially here in Houston, because like I kind of said earlier, rent here, if you want to live in a nice area, you don't want no roaches or rats or terrible roommates. And I can tell you, some of my clients, they get robbed all the time. I had a client that was, well, he wasn't my client, but he was in our program, and he got shot in the face. They robbed him once. They robbed him again, and they intended to kill him this time. And the rent was $975. So if you're getting $800 a month on, you know, government, you know, either SSI, SSDI, retirement, whatever it is you're getting, and then you want to say $5,000, okay, so you obviously are limited. So what are you gonna do to where you won't get your check cut off, to where you can make that extra $5,000? Okay, that's a limit. Okay, measurable. So how am I gonna measure this? How am I gonna save $5,000? Even if you're not low income, or if you are low income, okay? We're kind of off that now. But let's say that you know, so how are you gonna measure this? Okay, well, I think I may do the envelope challenge. So what is that? Well, I have 100 envelopes here, and I've put a number on every single one, and this is how much I'm gonna put in. And whenever I put in, I have a deposit sheet here that I'm keeping track of my deposits. That's your measurable, okay? And then also, how long am I gonna do this? Am I gonna do this envelope challenge how everyone else does it? Am I gonna do it where I'm gonna do it for 100 days? Or am I gonna do this over the course of 365 days? Ask yourself those questions. Let's see. And I kind of went into it already, because they kind of overlap, guys, a little bit, but not really. They kind of do. But achievable. So how am I going to accomplish this goal? I kind of already hinted, you're going to go make more money if you don't have enough money, or you're going to cut down you're going to change your budget and cut down your spending in some areas. Okay. Is this realistic? Maybe for a person that is low income based, maybe to save $5,000, that may be a little bit more hard for them. So maybe if you can't find ways to either get that extra income to save, or you might just do maybe a dollar challenge where you end up saving like $1,300, and then work your way up to saving $5,000 over, you know, maybe the course of 2 years. But when you're doing that, you got to be careful. The reason why is because when you're doing your goals, you don't want to set super long goals. So I would say 5,000 over maybe 2 to 3 years, that may be fine. But when you say, oh, I want to save $5,000 over like 5 years, yeah, that might be a stretch. Okay, so that's where you have to ask yourself. You know your finances better than I do. This is just, you know, generalized examples. So, but if you don't know how to budget, you need to learn how to budget. If you don't know how to budget, hit me up. I'll help you. Because I know how to budget. I just like to spend money. So money management, no. Budgeting, I got you. But anyways, so moving on. So relevant. Going back to your why. Is this worthwhile? Is this the right time to do this? You know, and am I the right person to reach this goal? Based on my financial status, can I actually do this? Okay. Time bound. Going back into what I kind of said earlier. Like I said, they kind of overlap. When is this gonna happen? When am I gonna accomplish this? When do I want to accomplish this? Okay, so let's do we're gonna do one more, but I'm actually gonna write it out for you, and then you can see kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, guys. So, I hope y'all can see. Okay, y'all can. Okay. So, so this is our generalized goal. So let's say I want to read the entire Bible chronologically. Chronologically. Y'all feel that? I did. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, okay. So, our specific. You're specific. So, pretty much it all goes down to this. What, why, who, where, and which. Okay, that's your specific. Okay, so what do I want to accomplish? Okay, I want to read the Bible chronologically. Why is this important? I want to know more. So this is your why. So, why would you want to read the Bible chronologically? I would like to have better understanding of God and biblical history. Okay? That's your why. Okay? Now, is anybody involved? Ain't nobody involved. Where is it located? Now, if you wanted to do this, you actually could. You could have a set place in your apartment to where you would spend time with the Lord and read the Bible chronologically. Or you don't have to have a specific place. I recommend it though if that's your goal. Okay? Of course, we don't have any resources or limits that will be involved. Because, I mean, the Bible is on your phone. You can get the Bible pretty much anywhere without paying for it. Going on to the M. So, measurable. So, how am I going to measure this? How am I going to track my progress? Well, I'm going to follow a Bible reading plan. Okay? Oh, not rating. Reading plan. Okay? Okay, now going on to Achievable. So how am I going to achieve this? My Bible reading plan will have a checklist. I will get up at 7 a.m. to read God's Word. Okay? Your R. Is it relevant? Does this seem worthwhile? This is pretty much going back to your why. Why does this matter to you? Okay? Does this seem worthwhile? Of course, it's the Word of God. Is it applicable to just my life in general? Not just the socio-economic environment. Am I the right person to reach the goal? Yes. Jesus said, come. Okay? Is this the right time? Of course, there's never a wrong time. So that's your relevant. Okay? So going back to your why. Okay? You're just answering more questions. And then time bound. 1 year. That's your time bound. And that's it. So really if we were to write this out, what this will look like. My goal is to read the entire Bible chronologically within 1 year. To attain this, I will set aside time by getting up at 7 a.m. every morning to read the assigned readings for that day. And once, don't be talking about run-on sentences and stuff, okay? Whatever. This we ain't in English class, okay? And once I have completed the task, I will check the box assigned to the reading. Okay? And so this is how you would do that. Now, like I said, you could print off a checklist. You could create your own checklist. It depends. That's all. That's a matter of you. But I'm keeping it more generalized. But if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to either email me or shoot me a message through Messenger. And if you need help setting your goals up, I definitely don't mind doing that. I would love to help you. And so yeah, so get your goals together. Make sure you have attainable goals. And I want to say this, don't set too many goals. Okay? You don't want to overwhelm yourself. Okay? So, and not to mention, even if you wanted to do like your 5-year plan, like let's say you want to buy a house in the next 5 years, you could kind of write out a plan kind of using the SMART goals to help that out. Because that is something a little bit more bigger and that, you know, takes, oh, I got the hiccup, sorry, that takes a little bit more time. So that would be where you would kind of use the SMART goals for something that was long term. Or if you maybe wanted to move to Africa within the next 10 years or move out of the country within the next 10 years, using SMART goals would kind of help you to be able to kind of get that a little bit more detailed. But when it comes to, you know, other things like, oh, I want to start a business and this is what I wanted to do, SMART goals are not going to be, or the SMART method is not going to be the best choice to use in that situation. But I know you guys can do it. I believe in you guys. You can accomplish your goals. Just make sure you keep God in it and just continue to seek Him and let God lead you in your goals. A lot of people always use the scripture in Habakkuk where it talks about write the vision and make it plain. Make sure that that vision is from God and that it's not from your desires, because people and the enemy will lie to you and tell you, hey, go, you know, you can, you know, God will give you the desires of your heart, but that's if you delight in Him. If you aren't delighting in Him and He hasn't given you those desires, then and it's not in His will, God will not provide for that. Okay? So, another thing that you could do to help you to have another visual representation is a vision board. And what do I mean by that? Now, I'm not talking about manifestation, because a lot of people claim that they are manifesting, and a lot of you guys are not manifesting. A lot of you are just writing your goals down and you're just attaining them. To manifest requires a whole lot more than just writing something down. Okay? And so anyways, but that's another video for another time. But making a vision board of the goals and the visions that God has given you, that helps you to stay on track. That helps you to stay encouraged, because going in and you know, whenever you go into these goals and you're having your issues, it's over 12 months, you're going to, have those times where you want to give up. And looking at your vision board helps you to remember what God has laid on your heart. And so, yeah. But like I said, if you need any help with setting your goals, I would absolutely love to help you with that. You can shoot me a message on Messenger, and we can either do a Zoom call, or we can FaceTime, whatever the case may be, and we can kind of work on that. And so yeah, guys, y'all have a happy new year and stay safe. Bye, guys.